What is up, guys? It's your Average Joe with Average Joe Raids. Today, we are going to take a look at the new Hydra rotation. It is Rotation 1, bringing back the Head of Suffering. And we're going to take a look at a team that can one key normal without using Geomancer or Inquisitor Shamel. So, Geomancer and Shamel is a deadly combo against the head of the Fearhead, head of Terror, I think. I'm not sure. But it's a deadly combo. It's used in a lot of teams. A lot of content creators will use it in videos. Today we're going to take a look at a team that does not use either one of those so that you guys can help build a team that's with similar champions to what I'm using and one key normal and get that top chest. So we have Mother Cybele, which was a past fusion. She brings us an AoE decreased speed and then also a revive on death buff and an increased defense buff. Godseeker Aniri has a revive and some heals. We have Royal Guard. He has the enemy max HP AoE attack. We've got Ninja, who was a previously free login reward champion. He has an insane A2 with HP burns, and then also his A3 brings the A2 off a cooldown faster. Rector Drath is going to give us some perfect veil to deal with the Head of Torment while he's still alive so that we're not constantly getting feared. And then Madame Ceres is going to help us deal with taking off any buffs that the Head of Mischief will steal from us. Although this team specifically is not giving many buffs, and so that's going to actually help us a lot because the Hydra heads aren't going to be getting increased attack and increased speed and different things like that, which could help make your team not do so well. And so this is kind of a comp that's going to, I don't need a block debuffs and I don't need a resistance tank. And to me, those are two of the hardest things to do with the Hydra. And so this is going to be a one key normal team that doesn't need either of those and also doesn't use Geomancer and also doesn't use Inquisitor Shamel. So in my opinion, this is a really great team to base your future team on, and let's get into it. Let's take a look at this run. And so right off the bat, to me, the two most annoying heads are the Head of Decay, who is cleansing our debuffs, and also the Head of Torment, which is putting fears on everyone. And so I always forget the Head of Torment's name. We also have the Head of Suffering and the Head of Mischief. Now, the Head of Suffering hasn't been in the rotation for a little while, so he does a 25% weaken unless you have a strengthen debuff on you. He also gives ally protection to the other heads and puts a reflect damage on himself, and then he also can put a pain link on one of our champions, and that basically means that when we do damage to him, it also does damage to our champion. So right off the bat, I don't really care about the Head of Suffering and the Head of Mischief. Mostly don't care about the Head of Mischief because we're not putting buffs off that he's stealing. Occasionally he'll steal Madame Ceres's shield, but it's very small. And so I'm going to try to get the Head of Torment out so that we don't have to deal with fears and I don't have to worry about constantly having perfect veil up on everyone. So the perfect veil is going to basically last long enough for us to deal with Head of Torment, and I'm just attacking Head of Torment with anyone who has a perfect veil on. So we break that head right off the bat, and now I'm pouring as much damage as I can into the broken head. And my second priority then will be to take the Head of Decay down so that we don't have to worry about him cleansing our debuffs that we're putting out. That way our burns can stay out longer, our decreased attack and decreased defense from Madame Ceres can stay out longer, and we can just overall be doing more damage without that cleanse happening. Another game plan you could do if you went for Bevald of the Thorn, or if you have some other champions that do this, the Head of Decay can now be provoked, and that is due to the new Hydra nerfs that just came in this week. Yesterday was May 24th, 2022. So now the Head of Decay can be provoked, which just causes him to use his A1, And so right now, with both of his cooldowns at 1 turn, would be a great time to provoke that head. So um, I personally would let Head of Decay use his abilities and then try to get your debuffs out and then provoke him right when his abilities are going to come off cooldown to prevent that from happening. So he gets that cleanse off, and we're working on breaking him right now so that we don't have to worry about that cleanse anymore. So right there we get a Head of Wrath to come up. Head of Wrath was the biggest thing that I hated about last couple rotations. With all the damage that he's putting out, it just makes it really hard to stay alive, especially when you're only working with 75% of your HP. So he's also a reason why Geomancer was so good in the last rotation. So right now we're still working on getting Head of Decay down so that we don't have to deal with his cleanses. We can keep these HP burns up. And something I think I noticed was I don't think Head of Mischief was stealing my Revive on Death buffs. So he was only stealing when Mother Cybele would put up increased defense and Revive on Death, he was only stealing the increased defense. So Revive on Death could actually be really huge in Hydra in terms of not being stolen. That might have just been a coincidence, but I thought it was a pattern I was seeing. So we're using Revive on Death here because mostly because Godseeker Aniri is pretty low, and she comes up right there. Everyone still goes down again, but basically with 2 revivers on your team, when one dies, you can just use the other one to revive them. And so I'm a lot in this run. I'm chaining Rector Drath and Godseeker Aniri's revives. So we finally get this Head of Decay down. We're putting some more damage into that. While that happens, we also have this Head of Suffering that's getting low as well. And I believe we just passed our 1 key damage amount right here. So you can see that we're easily 1 keying. We really haven't been put in a bad situation yet. And I feel like a lot of this is to do with the nerf to how long it takes for your champions to get eaten. So we're working with a full team for longer, which lets us put in more damage and just make sure that our team is functioning the way that it's supposed to. I think that takes out a lot of the RNG, which is what everyone is really hating about Hydra. So we're about to get this Head of Suffering down. That's going to give us another broken head that we can just pour damage into, because the broken heads are going to take increased damage. So when you can get one broken, that's a really good time to up your damage number and get into that 1 key range. So we're pouring damage into there, and then we've got some AoEs that are also taking down this the poison head here, which is the head of Blight. So I don't have all the names memorized quite yet. I have my own little names for them, like Poison Head, Fear Head, Angry Head. So Head of Blight just went down there. Now we've got 2 broken heads to pour damage into. I'm going to be pouring damage into the one with decreased defense at this point in time. And then when he comes back up, just like he did, we've got a new Head of Mischief. Now we're going to put damage into the other broken head, and then hopefully break Head of Wrath here pretty soon as well. You can see he's getting low over there. So we're at 9 million. I think we finished the key close to 12 million. So, and a lot of that is the Revive on Deaths and the chain reviving between Rector Drath and Godseeker Aniri keeps us in the fight for a long time. And also part of it, I think, is the decreased attack on these Hydra heads from the Hydra nerf is adding to our survivability. So we finally break that Head of Wrath. We've got another broken head. We're going to get this Head of Fear out so that we don't have to worry about being feared. Now we've got 2 broken heads to sink damage into, which is great for AoE attacks like Mother Cybele's, and I don't know if we get Royal Guard's attack out here, but that would be a real clutch attack right now. So it is on cooldown. I'm not sure if he lives before we get to that, but because Head of Mischief doesn't really have anything to steal, in past rotations, I've used Madame Ceres to counter Head of Mischief so that when he steals stuff, I use her to strip it back off. With this team, without putting buffs up, I'm actually just freely using Madame Ceres' A3 to put up decrease attack and decrease defense. And because our Head of Decay is down, we don't have to worry about those debuffs being stripped off. So we're really good to just use Madame Saris however we want to. So she gets eaten here. I don't know that we actually free her from this. We might towards the very end. But now we've got a bunch of really healthy heads, so we're not going to be able to pour in a ton of damage. So right now we're just kind of living, and it doesn't matter because we've already hit our 1 key. I'm actually going to, I think, double the 1 key amount, which I have never done before on normal. Even with a more difficult team, or even with a better team, I don't think I've done that quite yet. So for those of you who have been struggling on normal and haven't been hitting the top chests, this rotation may be the first time that you can hit that top chest on normal. I've heard of some people who weren't hitting it with 3 keys, and now they can get it with 1 key. And I think some of it is team planning, but also the decreased stats, the increased timer on when your champions are going to get eaten is huge. Being able to break your champions out sooner when they are eaten, because the green bar takes more damage, is also really huge. There's just a lot of RNG mitigation that's happened with these Hydra nerfs, and it's going to let you do a lot more damage. It's going to let a lot of people get more rewards. I actually got a piece of mythic gear from my Hydra chest from last week. I did my keys on Tuesday. Whoops. See here, we're switching screens a little bit. I actually did my keys on Tuesday right after the nerf and before the reset, and so I was able to get some of those better chests on those normal rewards, and also did a hard 1 key to get to the lowest chest on hard, so that I can get 3 chests. That's something. I actually didn't do it in 1; I did it in 2. So typically, I'll try to use maybe 1 key. I'll either do 1 key to get the top chest on normal, and then put 2 keys into hard to try to get the lowest chest on hard. That way I'm able to get 3 chests. Or I will use 1 key on hard to get to the lowest chest on hard, and then use what I can on my other 2 keys to get the top chest on normal. So for my account, I'm not able to 1 key hard to get the top chest or anything like that. I think that's the best path, so that you're getting, for my clan, I'm getting 3 chests a week because we've downed normal, so I get my 2 normal chests, and then we have not downed hard yet, so I'm getting my 1 hard chest. But even if we had downed hard, for my account, it would still be the wisest thing to do, because I'm able to get 3 chests, and then I would be able to get 4 if we down hard. So 14.26 million damage. We've over doubled the amount for the top chest on normal, which gets you mythic gear drops now. A lot of damage coming from Ninja, but this could be any HP burner is going to put out enough damage to get to a 1 key range. We've got Royal Guard putting out some damage. Other Cybele doing a lot of damage because of her AoE. She's not even built for damage. She's built in a Guardian set with some accuracy for her decreased speed. Godseeker and Neri putting out a lot of damage because she's built for my clan boss team. So let's go ahead, take a look at these builds. Just finished my nightmare run. Alright, so we used Ninja here. He is built in Swift Parry, 40,000 health, 3,000 attack, 100% crit rate, 215 crit damage, 286 accuracy. The other legendary we used was Mother Cybele. She is in a Guardian set here, and I've got her with 56,000 HP, almost 2k defense, 197 speed. She's pretty slow, but she does have 300 accuracy, so that we can land those decreased speeds, those AoE decreased speeds. You can see here, really no crit rate or crit damage, just she's getting her damage from her HP and also from doing an AoE attack on her A1, so that's where her damage is coming from. So our epics here, we've got Godseeker Aniri in her clan boss build, 32,000 HP, 3,500 defense, 90% crit rate, 254 speed, 126 crit damage, no accuracy, no resistance. Got Madame Saris in an arena build. She has a lot of HP, 54,000, 1,800 defense, 251 speed, and then a lot of accuracy, 455. And then we had Rector Drath here. She is built with decent HP, 53,000, almost 2,000 defense. She's very slow at 182 speed, and then she has no accuracy for her decrease attack. So that could be one thing that you could add to her if you in your build if you're using her. And then the last champion we have here is Royal Guard, and Royal Guard is built to nuke, 37,000 HP, 3,000 attack. He's pretty slow at 173, 245% crit damage, and then some resistance, no accuracy, which could be really good to build into him if you're not using Mother Cybele, so that you can use his A3 for his decreased speed, and he also has decreased defense on his A1. So building Royal Guard with some accuracy is definitely a strategy to use. So that is how you can one key normal on this rotation, which is rotation 1, and hopefully that gets you the top chest. You can get some mythic gear, and we can really start seeing some rewards, and hopefully the community start to like the Hydra content a little more. So let me know in the comments below what your team is that you're going to use, and something fun that you're going to be doing this week in your spare time. So stay average, my friends, and I will see you in the next one.